Gardner's Island, a small piece of land in eastern Suffolk County, New York, has belonged to the Gardner family for generations. This island, not far from Manhattan, became a temporary hideaway for pirate Captain William Kidd in 1699. Heading towards Boston, Kidd chose this spot to hide his treasure, hoping to clean his tarnished reputation. With Mrs. Gardner's permission, the owner at the time, he buried his treasure in a ravine on her property. In a stark exchange, he gave Mrs. Gardner a piece of cloth woven with gold threads, alongside a grim warning. If he returned and the treasure was gone, he would take the life of either her or her son. The stash Kidd buried was extensive, including gold coins, silver dust, bars of silver, Spanish dollars, and valuable gems like rubies and diamonds, along with ornate items such as candlesticks and porringers. One of these diamonds was selfishly kept by Mr. Gardner for himself, instead of giving it to his daughter, as he had originally intended. Today, even though the island is private property, a plaque stands as a reminder of where Kidd's treasure was supposedly buried. Kidd had begun his life of piracy with a legal privateering license granted by the British East Company. His career started legitimately, but soon deteriorated as he turned against the British and began seizing their ships. His criminal actions eventually caught up with him when he returned to New York. He was arrested and sent back to England, where he was tried and executed. Although it's claimed that all of Kidd's treasure was recovered, the story has prompted countless individuals to search the area for centuries, hoping to find something missed by others. Shifting to another story of buried wealth, we find the tale of the Lima treasure, which ended up on Isla de Coco, Panama, around 1820. This massive treasure, originating from Lima, Peru, was meant to be transported by Captain William Thompson, as he was entrusted by the church to safely deliver it. Yet during the journey on his ship, the Mary Dear, Thompson was overcome by greed. He murdered his passengers and redirected the ship to Cocos Island, Costa Rica, where he decided to hide the treasure. Thompson was eventually captured and executed in Canada in 1844. Before he died, he revealed the location of the hidden treasure to a man named Meister Keating. This act led hundreds of treasure hunters to Cocos Island, driven by hopes of finding the buried riches. Among them was August Gessler, a notable German treasure hunter who lived on the island from 1889 to 1908. Despite their relentless efforts and the compelling legends fueling their pursuit, none of these treasure seekers succeeded in uncovering Thompson's hidden wealth. From hidden clues to old questions, the search moves beyond Oak Island to explore more exciting legends of lost riches. In the 1990s, a company called Vlade Private Islands was in the business of selling islands, including one called Cocos Island in Panama. Around that time, a historian from Panama got in touch. He warned the company that they shouldn't sell the island for just a few $100,000. He believed it was actually worth much more, around $60 million. This surprising information came from his belief that there might be a great treasure buried there. Taking this claim seriously, Vlade Private Islands sought help from a treasure expert, William S. Crooker. He was well known for his research on a treasure found at Oak Island in Nova Scotia, Canada. Intrigued by the potential of a similar find in Panama, he traveled there to investigate further. He looked into old maps and histories of the area. His skills in reading these old maps led him to a remarkable possibility. The treasure that many thought was hidden in Lima could actually be on Panama's Cocos Island. But there was a complication. It was unclear whether the treasure was on Panama's Cocos Island or a different Cocos Island just across the border in Costa Rica. Up to now, no one has conducted a thorough search on the Panamanian island to find out the truth. This scenario is somewhat reminiscent of the tale in Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island, a book that since its 1883 publication has defined the idea of treasure hunting. The story has had a lasting impact on both the real world of treasure hunters and the fictional world of literature. It introduced unforgettable characters and elements like the talking parrot, the one-legged pirate, and the treasure map with a red cross. Interestingly, Stevenson didn't come up with all these ideas on his own. He adapted many elements from earlier authors like Daniel Defoe, Edgar Allan Poe, and Washington Irving, freely using their concepts. The idea for Treasure Island came about quite unexpectedly. Stevenson was on vacation in the Scottish High Moor with his stepson, and they were drawing maps for fun. One of these maps depicted an imaginary island with various features like bays, forests, and ruins, and even included a smaller offshore island named Skeleton Island. The idea for Treasure Island came about quite unexpectedly. Stevenson was on vacation in the Scottish High Moor with his stepson, and they were drawing maps for fun. One of these maps depicted an imaginary island with various features like bays, forests, and ruins, and even included a smaller offshore island named Skeleton Island. This playful project turned into the inspiration for Stevenson's most successful book. Unfortunately, the original map they created was lost before the book went to print. However, Stevenson later reconstructed it from the descriptions in his novel, and this map is now included in nearly every copy of the book. Despite the initial loss, Treasure Island remains a popular work, inspiring countless readers with dreams of finding hidden treasures. Further north in Scotland lies Ailsa Craig, an island famous for its striking appearance and the legends surrounding it. Not far from Glasgow, Ailsa is a prominent rock formation rising from the sea, known for its natural beauty. For years, people have talked about a treasure hidden on this island, though it has never been confirmed. Getting to the island isn't easy, but its stunning views and the lore surrounding it continue to attract visitors. Like the stories of Cocos Island, the tales of Ailsa Craig stir the imagination, though they often lead to more speculation than actual discovery. In the end, the real value of these islands may lie not in hidden treasures, but in their breathtaking landscapes and the enduring stories they inspire. The hill on this island rises steeply from the water, reaching up to 1,110 feet. If there were any treasure hidden within this steep hill, it would be extremely difficult to find. Many areas of the hill are hard to access, which would make it a good place to hide something valuable. However, no one has yet found any treasure there. Interestingly, the owner of the island might not be too worried about this. The island itself has increased in value so much over time that any hidden treasure might not seem very important compared to the island's overall worth. Today, the island features a striking lighthouse and a few buildings. The construction of the lighthouse was managed by engineers Thomas and David Stevenson. Thomas was the father of Robert Louis Stevenson, who wrote the famous book Treasure Island, a story that has become a key part of pirate and treasure hunting stories. The idea of finding hidden treasure continues to attract people to the island, all hoping to discover something significant. Yet one has to wonder if anyone will actually find anything. In the year 1730, Frigate Island was a favored spot among pirates in the Seychelles. It was perfectly positioned along the main sea routes used by ships traveling to and from Goa, following the paths once sailed by the explorer Vasco da Gama. For pirates, Frigate Island was the perfect place to hide. Today, you can still see evidence of their presence on the island. There's the Pirate's Stone, which has unusual carvings on it, the remains of an ancient fort at Anne's Park, and a large hole left by an excavation that happened in the late 19th century, found about 15 years ago. There are stories that Olivier Levasseur, also known as Captain Labousse or the Buzzard, once took the solid gold cross of Goa. Many attempts have been made to find this pirate treasure. As the story shifts to St. Joseph Atoll, the treasure hunt heats up, mixing history, legend, and the strong human spirit, the never-ending hunt for wealth. The fascination with these islands and the possible treasures hidden on them continues to draw people, driven by stories of pirates and long-lost riches. Yet it might be worth considering whether this interest is driven more by the exciting stories than by any real chance of finding hidden wealth. After all, the real value may well lie in the islands themselves, with their natural beauty and rich histories, rather than any hidden treasure chests. This ongoing search for treasure contrasts sharply with the tangible value of the islands as natural and historical sites. Despite the lack of treasure finds, the narrative of hidden wealth continues to enchant and attract many, keeping the legend alive. This persistent hunt, often fruitless, raises questions about what we value and why, suggesting that perhaps the stories we tell about these places are the true treasures that endure. Once upon a time, even Ian Fleming, who wrote the James Bond novels, tried his luck digging for the well-talked-about treasure. On July 7, 1730, Captain Labousse was captured, taken to St. Paul Reunion, and hanged for piracy. The story tells us that right before he was executed, he threw a cryptic message with 17 lines into the crowd, daring them to locate his hidden wealth. This message, shrouded in mysticism, ended up in the hands of a pirate in the Seychelles. 200 years later, a woman from Seychelles named Rose Savy managed to get this paper verified at the National Library in Paris. For those bold enough to chase their dreams, this island still offers a glimpse of paradise. Next, we consider St. Joseph Atoll in the Seychelles, which has been attracting tourists since 1721.